Hey, and welcome back to this new series that's on my channel. We're playing SFS, and we're gonna build a base. That's pretty cool. As you can see here, I'm just doing my gravity turn to get into orbit. It's a pretty extreme one, more extreme than you would usually probably go with. And that is because our upper stage it doesn't have a great thruster weight ratio. It's pretty weak. So we have this kind of just standard launcher that I made. You can see there, it's not too complicated. Those side boosters do come off, but the fuel drains so quickly between the two stages that it's pretty much the same. So now that we've made orbit here, you might get a quick glimpse at our payload before we do our transfer burn. And I had to do a quick load here because I messed something up. But you can see here we're going to Mars, so that's pretty cool. Little information here. This lander that I designed, not made to go to Mars. I made it go to the moon. So we're kind of pushing a little hard here. I have to transfer some fuel from our actual payload into this. Doesn't matter though. It will work fine either way. In fact, it turns out being beneficial. So we're doing our burn here to get from Earth to Mars. And this is just going here. I want to take a second, talk about how I don't upload very often. I know, and a lot of the time I don't upload for months. And it's very varied content. I'm going to try to even that out. We're going to be doing a lot more SFS videos because it's just a lot easier for me to do these on my phone just when I have some free time every now and then. You can see here we have our trajectory to Mars, and we are having it be in the atmosphere so that I don't time warp through it. You can see there I almost did, and now we are aerobraking in the atmosphere. So what we're doing here is instead of using the rocket engines to slow ourselves down, we can use the air. We do a little bit of combination of both because it's not quite enough, but now that you can see, now that we will orbit no matter what, I let the air do the rest of the work here. As you slow down, you can get a little bit of a better look at the payload there. What do we have in our payload? We have a rover, we have a drone to take everything out. We have a docking port for the drone along with a fuel tank for it, and a landing pad for future missions to land stuff. You can also see there on the bottom left, there is what was supposed to be a satellite to go in orbit of Mars. But I never actually ended up getting into orbit. We just kind of went straight into the atmosphere. That's my mistake. I didn't catch it till we'd already landed, and at that point I had already taken out modules, so it was going to be way more work than it was worth it, and I could just bring another one on the next mission. So you can see here I'm deploying some of the parachutes, and this kind of helps, but it ends up being kind of a bother once we get closer to the ground, because you can see here I'm about to deploy the lower ones on the, see, right there we end up flipping around, and I have to quickly try to cut off the bottom parachute so that we can flip around. I ended up messing up our landing gear a lot. We end up landing on this hill, which isn't great for our base. We want a flat area. So what I do here is I just kind of lean over and I, do a little bounce. It's a hop with this rocket. And there we go. You can see we're landing. And we're going to do another cut here. So this is when I start unpacking anything. And then this took the longest out of everything in the video. This in total took like 40 minutes. So I left in the good, like the ones that were actually saving. There's going to be a lot of cuts in this section, so I'm not going to mention them all. You can see here, I only barely got that drone out. That took probably the longest. It just took so many tries. It kept breaking. The little RCS ports are very fragile. And I basically just got this one to go on by accident. But now you'll see that is what we're actually using to unpack the rest of these. That one was, that one was a little reliant on chance because we still had the drone there, or the satellite, excuse me. But now we are using this drone. We're going to attach it first to this drone docking port, which is what it'll rest on when we're, doing something else at the base or it's not in use. As you can see here, we have to land it sideways because, interestingly enough, this whole mission was actually designed for the moon. And then at the last minute, I was like, no, this should go to Mars. That would be much cooler. Big mistake. And that was a massive cut there. I know it's going to look kind of weird. That is because the footage there was basically unusable. There were so many loads and reloading, and it wouldn't look good if I had tried to do it. I was quick saving so often. So you can see here we're getting this tank. It took forever to get that down, but we got the tank there. Now it's attached, kind of doing this weird wiggle thing to get it back into place. You might have seen it for a little bit. I did get the rover out on the side. That one wasn't too bad actually, but here's where we run into a big issue. This drone was not made for this particular this particular mission. It's one that I already had, so it doesn't actually fit the landing pad. It can't be docked to it. So what I have to do here is I have to try and wiggle it back to connect back with the main lander. And then what I'm going to do here, as you'll see in just a second, once I put this drone back, which is actually more difficult than you think because there's like so little fuel left. You can see they're almost out. Anyway, as you can see, what I have to do is I end up having to tilt the entire rocket over. I have to drain all the fuel out of there, which it does this weird hover thing where it'll like, it's moving up, which I find interesting. But anyway, we are flipping the whole rocket onto its side here, which you can see right here. And this took several tries as well, just with, it was very difficult. I had to activate the engine a little bit there to get us flip correctly, and the landing legs didn't want to cooperate. Sometimes they would flip me over, sometimes they wouldn't. But you can see right about here, almost got it. We're just doing a few minor adjustments at the very end, right before we dump it off. And then I also have to move I try backing the truck up to try and push it, because I thought, maybe that would work. But it didn't really work out, as you'll see here in just a second. But I switched back here, and I then end up just undocking the thing, hoping it'll fall correctly, and luckily enough, it does. It falls pretty smoothly. So now, really all that's left is to prop the rocket back upright, which was very easy, easier than I thought it would be, and then I just kind of send it off into the distance, just like real quick, get rid of it. It's not necessary anymore. I can't really do anything with it. And then what we're doing is I'm moving the drone platform to a higher area because there was a nice little dip there that we can really level out the landing platform on. And then I take the drone and this little, I forgot to mention this earlier, we have this nice little ion booster helper for the drone. Like if it needs it, it can use it for some extra thrust. And so we're using that here to pull the entire pad. This took several attempts as well. It also ended up breaking, like it would rub against the ground weird. But we ended up getting it nice. It's decently level. It's as level as you're going to get, basically. And then we were able to put the drone back onto its platform here. So to redock with there. And then So then we switch to the truck here. And then I try backing it up. In the latest update, I feel like wheels have been very uncooperative, let's say. They don't like to drive the way you want them to. And they kind of go, when you stop holding on the button, they end up going reverse. It's very weird. I'm hoping someone else has this issue and it's not just me just doing it bad. But we get the drone parked nicely here, and you'll see in just a second I switch back to the landing pad for a nice little shot here of the thing as a whole. And that actually wraps up our video. So make sure you like the video, make sure you subscribe. Another video of this should be out soonish. I already have the second launch prepared. So basically I just have to film and edit that. That shouldn't take very long. But yeah, that's all for today, guys. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.